As we inch closer to the first day of school, students and parents are preparing for how the year will work. While Fayette County Public Schools will start off virtually, plans are still in motion for what will happen once students transition back to campus. LX 18 Sophia Millar examines how transportation could work for students so they can return safely back to school.
I guess, like the rest of everybody, I'm just trying to figure out what's going to happen and the best way to make it work.
From the parents whose kids will ride the school bus.
I don't know that there's a safe way to get these kids to school, or that across the country, I'm not aware of anywhere where we've come up with a perfect solution.
To those who will be manning the driver's seat.
Everybody's safety needs to be considered in every decision that is made.
Questions about how transportation will work when schools return in person are as important as ever. It's why we're sitting down with Fayette County Public Schools Routing Supervisor Brad Daniel to find out where district plans stand right now. To begin, Daniel says it's important to remember most decisions are being made at the state level, and they're simply tasked with enforcing them.
We know we have to have some flexibility because at any given time, things could still shift a little bit.
Here's how Daniel says riding a bus will work. Social distancing, masks, and temperature checks will be required. Parents will need to take their kids' temperatures before they get on the bus, and then a bus monitor will take temperatures again before letting them on.
But I will say, as a parent, what would give me confidence to put my children on the bus is knowing that every bus has a bus monitor on, so that the driver can focus on their job. And I know that there's a responsible person who can take temperatures and also monitor social distancing.
If a student does have a temperature, they won't be left behind. They'll sit in a designated seat at the front of the bus and go straight to the infirmary at school. This is one of the points bus driver James Vest says he's really worried about.
In a pandemic situation, I don't see where that makes sense.
Vest had COVID-19 back in March. He says he's concerned about having students with symptoms sitting so close to the driver's seat and being in a closed space with healthy students in general.
I'm not really sure what the perfect answer is. I don't think there is a perfect solution.
Daniel says he understands where the concern comes from, but there are added measures which will help keep everyone safe.
So at the time that we're doing face-to-face, the community spread is going to be lower. We think that the numbers are going to be lower, so it's not as if we're trying to do this tomorrow when we know we're in an escalated phase.
And the decisions parents make now will also play a role when the time comes to put students on a school bus.
But again, I go back to that one statement, which is really critical, is that we're not going to need all the seats. They're not going to be filled because we're going to have reduced numbers.
So between reducing numbers, increasing cleaning, and requiring face masks on the bus, Daniel says the health department has assured them transportation can be done safely. Vest says he's glad to know masks will be required, but there's one more thing he wants to know.
If a kid gets on the bus and says, "I'm not wearing it," what are we going to do with that?
School spokesperson Lisa Defendel says there could be consequences.
When we have a student discipline issue, that's not something transportation takes care of. That's something that the school does. But that is a possibility that you would lose the right to ride the bus, you'd lose the privilege to ride the bus.
But at the end of the day, it'll take a community effort from parents, students, and educators alike to make sure everyone can go safely back to school. In Lexington, Sophia Millar, LEX 18 News.
The district will virtually return to class using a non-traditional instruction model on August 26th, which is about 3 weeks away.